Hello, and welcome to Let the Growth Flow, a spiritual place to heal mind, body, and soul. My name is Alexis, and I'll be your host. My hope for this podcast is to help people learn about all things spiritual, at the same time, allowing themselves to heal in any way that they need to. I plan to do that by sharing my own spiritual experiences, as well as bringing other spiritual mentors onto the show. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Let the Growth Flow. So, this is the first episode that will air as me being a 24-year-old. I just had my birthday last week, and it brought a lot of reflection for me on the year 23. A post came up on Facebook that I had made for my 23rd birthday last year, and I want to read it to you guys because it popped up and I'm like, wow, like this could not be any more accurate. But I wrote, 23 crazy, beautiful years in this body and on this earth. I have an overwhelming feeling that year 23 is going to be a great one. I am blessed beyond belief, thankful and grateful for another beautiful year. And as soon as that popped up and I read it, I was immediately covered in chills and kind of emotional because year 23 was huge for me. It was. I learned Reiki. I reconnected with the fact that I am a medium. I learned to unapologetically be myself. I learned to start respecting myself instead of people pleasing all the time. And I'm doing the work that I love so much and feel like I was truly put here on earth to do. And I am very, very grateful for year 23 of my life. And I know that year 24 is going to bring just as much love, growth, and inspiration. But as I was reflecting on this year 23, I was also visiting family. And the crazy thing is, I realized I hadn't really gone to Illinois to visit my family in a year. I was there about a year ago for my birthday last year. And to me, it felt like there was this huge shift in my family, and I know a lot of it was within myself. So I kind of talked last week with the ego, facilitating a relationship with your ego, on how a lot of times when we're going inward to work on ourselves, we shut a lot of people out. And I did that exactly. I shut my family out for sure. And it was difficult for me because I'd always been so close to my family and loved and appreciated their opinions. And it was the first time in my life when I was like, I cannot have anybody else's opinions except my own. And that was a boundary I set. And for my whole life, I welcomed everybody's opinions about everything. So it was easier for me to just shut everybody out until I figured my shit out. So being back around family, there was this huge shift, and I know it came from within myself too, of understanding and love and appreciation. And it was beautiful because I flew in on Friday, and that Friday night we sat up at my grandmother's house on the porch, drinking wine, listening to music. And it was the first time I felt truly seen and understood by my family, like with the work I'm doing. And it was a limiting belief I'd placed on myself that they weren't going to be accepting of what I do. So I made that a reality by believing it. So as soon as I changed that thought in myself and was willing to be open to them what I was doing, of course they were. Just a reminder, I always, when I'm shuffling these cards, I ask for messages for the highest healing of the collective. And when I say that, that's anybody who's listening to this podcast too. If you feel drawn to listen to this podcast and on the day you listen to it, you were meant to hear this message. This is so beautiful after this episode of talking about visiting family and taking away limiting beliefs on what we place on our family based on our fears, and that the last year of my life that I stepped into being loyal to what I love, which is this energy work and connecting with spirit. And I just As always, I'm out here sharing my story in hopes that, one, like I share the good and the bad because we all have good and bad times. And I think it's good to be vulnerable. But I really share my story just in hopes that it touches even one person and helps encourage them to step into what their passion is and live their life and to be loyal to what they love. So let's go ahead and read the book meaning of this. So the way that this deck works, I think I may have explained this before. If the card comes upside down, it's a different message from when it's face side up. So I'm going to read the upside down message because that's the way this card was pulled. Loyalty to people and situations can turn into attachment that results in stagnation, enmeshment, and loss of integrity. Do you fear what will happen if you let a relationship evolve? Are you afraid that asking for a situation to change will make others see you as disloyal? Trust that when dog spirit appears, you are meant to accept the turning of the wheel of life and the changing of fortunes. If you feel you are being betrayed or growing apart from someone, let dog spirit reconnect you with your commitment to love in all its forms. Perhaps the relationship is meant to evolve. Perhaps you are meant to evolve too, so that you can experience the growth for which your soul yearns. The greatest loyalty is to love, so be open to all its many guises, including self-love. You deserve the best, and that is what Spirit wants for you. So that was the upside down message. I am going to read both today because I feel drawn to read both. So the right side up message is, dog spirit appears to remind you that although change is part of life and all of us are meant to evolve, our love and commitments remain strong. You are loved now and can trust that this higher love is true. Spirit loves you, and love has arrived in many forms now, manifesting in the people you surround yourself with, expressed uniquely through them. Dog spirit also says, be true to that which you love, for now is a time of good fortune. Be steady as you recognize that people and things are always transforming. Your heart is loving and true, and dog spirit wants you to know that your steadfast commitment to experiencing and expressing love will attract and manifest more love. You deserve all of it. Have faith in Spirit's plan for you. So I do love this message. I feel like it meant something different for me when I read it, but that's okay because it can mean different things for all of us. But I do think this is a gentle reminder to be kind to yourselves and to work on your self-love and your self-worth and saying out loud every day, like, I am worthy of forgiveness. I am worthy of growth. I am worthy of amazing things. Because so often we say a completely different narrative in our minds, and we are the ones holding ourselves back. Don't put limits on your life, my friends, because life is limitless. Thank you all so much for listening today and for continually supporting me through listening to the podcast, through following me on my social media platforms, and just facilitating your own growth. I appreciate you all, and if you are interested in booking an online medium reading, Reiki session, or tarot card reading, you can do so at alexiseasthealing.com, or you can follow me on Instagram at alexiseasthealing. The link in the bio leads to all the appointments. The new moon circle is August 8th. You can also register and save your spot online with that. Thank you all so much. Have a beautiful week. Bye. Wow. So the card we have is Dog Spirit. Be loyal to what you love, accepting of it. And it was just so beautiful because they were asking me questions and asking advice and really asking, especially my great aunt, it was so beautiful. She was really asking these deep questions, trying to understand what it is I do and how it works. And it was so amazing to have that happen and to just have those feelings of being understood and accepted by the people you love. And I know I shared a couple weeks ago too, through this mediumship development course, I am seeing time and time again through these medium readings, the support that I have from ancestors in the afterlife also. And it's just two things that I don't want to say that I need, because I don't need others' approval to do this work, but it feels really, really great to know that I have this support from my family, living and past. And I feel like it just boosts my confidence that much more to know that I have this support. So I'm so appreciative of it. There's just been a lot of beautiful things happening, and I'm just very grateful for them. And I did want to share a story about some of the things I was gifted. So, one of the things I'm also very grateful for are my roommates. Shout out to Stephanie and Henry if you're listening. They're amazing. I just feel so blessed to have found great roommates because I know it's not always easy to find roommates that you get along with and that are open and communicate well and are just damn good people. That's all I can say there. So I am so appreciative to them, but they also got me the best birthday present, and I was not even expecting any gift from them. And they pulled it out Friday morning on my way to the airport because they also drove me. But they gifted me the book, The Power of Now. And I'll tell you what, guys, I've been wanting to read this book for like over a year, and I haven't. And I do this thing where I collect books that I want to read and then don't read them for quite some time because I get wrapped up in go, 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 go. So I'm taking the time to read this book, and I'm probably within the first chapter or two, but already it is blowing my mind. So if you have not read it, I strongly encourage it. I think I am definitely going to be gifting this book to somebody else after I'm done reading it. It's so powerful. And I was just so grateful. They got me this book. They got me coffee and donuts in the morning, and they also got me incense, a crystal that goes with the heart chakra because Cancer is all heart centered. And they also got me the coolest burning cauldron. Like, it's literally a cauldron that you can use to burn things in. For the witchier sides of myself, I do like to burn things, and mostly things that I'm trying to release and let go of. I always am using this as a healing tool in my Reiki sessions too for those who I feel like need to release and let go of things. I strongly encourage you to write them down on paper and burn them, safely burn them. And as you're burning them, say, I release and let go what is no longer serving me. So I am super stoked about that. I've already used it. I actually posted an Instagram reel of it if you want to check it out on how I used it. But I was just so grateful for that. And then birthdays aren't about the gifts, but it made me feel so much more appreciative that people are thinking of me and giving me gifts that resonate with what I love. So that was just beautiful too. I'm just so grateful. And I wanted to bring another story up of doing Reiki with my uncle. My uncle was recently diagnosed with prostate cancer, and he also just had surgery to remove it. He's doing really well, just to keep you guys updated on it. And a couple weeks ago, I had called him to talk and to tell him about a practice medium reading that I had received also. And it was really wild because it was like as soon as I got on the phone, I was clairaudiently getting a message for him. The best way I can describe this is sometimes in medium readings, it's almost like somebody else takes over. And I know that sounds scary, but it's not like that. It's just like we usually have thoughts in our brains of what we want to say, and then we say it. But it's like I don't have to think at all. It's like somebody else is giving me the words that I'm saying out of my mouth. And I was just saying all of these things to him, and I had no intention of saying them when I called. I was just calling to tell him about these messages from the reading. Come to think of it, I don't even know if we got to the messages of what was said in this medium reading, but he was crying on the phone, and then I told him about Reiki. And another limiting belief that I had placed on family members is that they weren't going to be receptive of Reiki or understand it or be willing to try it. And I had said to him, if you're willing to try it, I would love to do Reiki on you for free. And he said that he would love to try it. So my goal was to do in-person Reiki for him when I was visiting family, but it just didn't work out that way because we were drinking, and For me personally, I don't like to drink at least 24 hours before a session, like any sort of session, because it just like makes me feel cloudy and not as connected. And that's also why I just don't drink often anymore, because it's harder to get back to feeling connected with myself and my intuition and spirit as a whole. So it's kind of like when I do, I need like 2 to 3 days afterwards to get back to that feeling or sense of the true me. So I just told him when I was there, I just don't feel like it's the best time for me to be doing in-person Reiki, but we can still do a distance session. And I'm like, it works the same way. If anything, I feel like not that distance Reiki works better, but I guess I feel like more can be accomplished in a distance session. If you want to hear more about this, go back and listen to my episode with the medium in the middle, because we kind of talk briefly on the differences between distance and in-person Reiki and why we feel distance Reiki are able to get more accomplished in a session. But I had this distance session with my uncle the other day, and it was beautiful beyond belief. There's just a sense of proudness that he was willing to receive this and was so receptive of it. And I feel this with everybody too. I'm always so proud and so thankful that people will come and try Reiki, because it's so good for you and it does no harm, and it just brings you a sense of relaxation and healing, and it also allows me to do what I love. So I'm always proud and always grateful. But for it to be a family member, it was like that sensation and emotion times 10. But I always start my sessions by leading you through a guided meditation. Sometimes it's longer, sometimes it's shorter, depending on the person and their energy and how relaxed they need to get before we do the Reiki. But I always guide you in nature, and then I lead you to like a blanket or quilt that's laying out in nature, where you lay down and the sun shines upon you. And I always say this light helps you feel warm, safe, secure, and comforted. And for me, the emphasis of that light is the universe, is God, is whatever you believe in, shining down that loving energy on you, angels, it's protection. I just don't always say that, because I try to keep it as non-denominational as possible, because I don't want anybody thinking Reiki is for religious people, Reiki is for non-religious people, because Reiki is for everybody. So I never say that this God or spirit or the universe or angels, and it's really cool when people interpret it in their own ways. So my uncle, in this session, afterwards, I always guide you back from being in this state of relaxation, and then I always ask, what did you see? What did you feel on your body physically? What did you feel emotionally? Share as much or as little as you feel comfortable with, because I think it's really cool to see what lines up. The whole time during my sessions, I'm taking like a page or two long of notes on what I'm getting and what the kind of, I always say, homework is for you to do after the session. And then I read my notes. So I'm not making things up based on what you're saying. I'm directly reading your notes, and then I mail them to you also for you to keep. But as soon as I asked my uncle that, he had tears in his eyes, and he said he was feeling so relaxed, and that he was seeing butterflies and sunshine and warmth, and it's like he felt angels. He's like, I couldn't like see people, but I just kept seeing shadows, and he's like, I just knew they were angels, and I could feel the angel energy. And I'm covered in chills, him repeating that out loud, but it was such a beautiful, powerful experience for me. And based on what he said, I know it was for him too, but it just made me realize how much more I want to start doing Reiki for my family members, because for many reasons, obviously I want them to be able to feel this energy and be able to bring them this sense of peace and healing. But there's also a sense of pride that they get to experience what I'm doing every day, and maybe a greater sense of understanding for them of what I am doing to help people. So I and just like giving myself the biggest hug right now thinking about that experience. And I can't say it enough. I'm so proud of him and his receptiveness to the Reiki. So, so proud. Can't wait to do it for more family members if they want to. Um, that's kind of all I want to share in this episode today. I have about 10 million different things I can't wait to tell you guys for, but I'm trying to break them up into different episodes so things are making sense and it's not just a cluster of many different stories. So, a lot of really fun stories to come about Reiki and mediumship and my development. So, I hope you guys enjoy hearing these. Please let me know if you have questions about them or what you want to hear more of. I would love to hear it. I am going to pull us a card today from the Spirit Animal Oracle from Colette Baron Reed.